Hey yo, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Happy Football Sunday. We on week 3 right now for the Next Up Fantasy Show, and right now this is the Start and Sit show. Mike is going to be in a little bit momentarily. Right now, wanted to get his opinion on a couple of things, but we're just going to wait for him to actually come in. But um, but yeah, pretty much. Hope you guys actually had a good weekend. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to come in. Hope everyone is actually having a good day, having a good time. Just gonna wait for my co-host to actually come in. We just started not too long ago, so haven't really missed much right now. So everyone that's on here, shout out. How's it going? Hope everyone's having a good day. Well, I go ahead and sit here and chill. If you already need an idea of who's starting or who's not, or who's in or who's out, check the scroller down here. Looks like there's a little bit of information already as far as who's in and who's out. And later on the hour, we're going to go ahead and do start and sit questions based on everyone's thoughts and everyone's needs. But right now, once again, just waiting on Mike to get started. But give me a quick shout out if you're already on here. If you just want to say, hey, what's up? Mark, what's going on? Watch you on the TV. That'd be kind of dope. See like a big old like 65-inch version of me. That'd be kind of dope. So I'd love to see that actually. but but yeah, not really too much going on right now. But like I said, a couple of people down here are already out. We already know Zay Jones. We know Austin Eckler was out. Odell Beckham's out. Um, there was one more that I wanted to actually highlight. Oh my goodness! Wow. Why you giving me information like that on on a fantasy show? That's still crazy. That's insane to actually even think about right now. Trying to make me I gotta focus now. So so Jalen Waddle's out. Yeah, so Jalen Waddle's out because of concussion protocol. Deion Jackson ended up actually getting waived. Bryce Young, we already knew wasn't going to be playing. Um, and with the Bryce Young situation, Andy Dalton's going to be starting. And one of those things you have to ask yourself is Andy Dalton, like how much of a difference is there between Bryce Young and Andy Dalton? We know Andy Dalton did well in Cincinnati. He did well in Dallas, actually, I believe he was a backup there. And also for Chicago, he was a backup. Um, I mean, Andy Dalton, if you really, 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 really need it, and he's not, and no one else is really available, so I guess Andy Dalton's going to be fine. He has acceptable weapons. I mean, he still has Adam Thielen, he still has Jonathan Mingo, Hayden Hurst, he still has Miles Sanders. Can actually have a bit of a better run this weekend. Um, but pretty much who they're playing. Let me actually. I should have pulled that up, but I can kind of see on a more desperate play, if you really needed somebody, then you can go ahead and actually swing by and pick up an Andy Dalton. Who are they playing? Who are they playing? Seahawks. Yeah. I read another thing about someone asking for that other Andy Dalton or Mac Jones. Mac Jones playing against the Jets and Andy Dalton versus the Seahawks. I actually ended up saying Dalton, to be honest. I don't see Mac Jones. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him, but of course the Patriots do usually get. But then again, the Jets really don't have a top 5 defense every year, so I'm kind of holding back my expectations with the Patriots this week. Um, there is a possibility I could see the Jets actually even boldface winning the game. Honestly, um, let's see who else do we have here. Who else do we have here? Odell Beckham. Both Odell Beckham and Justice Hill is out. With Odell Beckham having with Odell Beckham not pretty much being there, you would kind of think Rashad Bateman is a player to look at. But then again, they have Zay Flowers, so Flowers can actually be a very acceptable target to for Lamar Jackson. Same thing with Justice Hill being out. You could also have the expectation of Gus Edwards getting a little bit more run. Even to the point where I can even see Lamar Jackson actually doing more running than he usually would without a Justice Hill. So Gus Edwards, I kind of expect to be something sneaky. But one thing I want people to take a look at, I believe that there was some kind of injury issue with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was having a bit of an injury issue. He's not on any kind of injured list or whatnot, as to the point where he's expected to play or where he's not expected to play. But Derrick Henry did, I believe on Thursday, either Thursday or Friday, he didn't practice, but he still has an expectation to play. I've been keeping my eye out on Tyjae Spears. We saw what Tyjae Spears can do. He technically has been looked at as the replacement for Derrick Henry anyway, and we know how much run that Derrick Henry actually has in his whole career, 300 carries minimum every year. Joshua Kelly. I play him. He's playing against Minnesota, I believe. Actually, both running backs actually have a good chance of actually doing something decent this game. On the Chargers side, you have Joshua Kelly. And on the other side, you have Alexander Mattison. The game expectation as far as points allowed, I believe, is at 54, 55. So if they're at a total of 55, then pretty much everyone is in play. Manny talked about it on the Friday show that he is actually looking at Jordan Addison for Minnesota actually to have a good run today. As good as Jordan Addison is, I was actually also looking into KJ Osborne. Osborne actually ran a little bit more plays or did more snaps than Jordan Addison in week 2. And everything that Minnesota is doing right now is exactly what we expected Minnesota to actually do. With as many plays as they do, as with as many high scoring points that they have. They played against tough run defenses in week 1 and 2. Week 3, it's a little bit on the softer side for the Chargers. So Joshua Kelly can have a little bit of run, and that's the same thing with Alexander Mattison. And let's bring up my tea.
I do apologize, man, and my bad about the way it's looking. Like, my lighting's not right. I hustled in here so I could do this real quick. I had to find the one room where my family wasn't sleeping. So, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm not in the dark, but it looks like I'm in the dark. But I'm here, yo.
I'm kind of digging this though. It's not a bad look though.
Yeah, you know. What's that dude? Nope Sabat from Mortal Kombat. He was like a shadow.
Sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. I was just talking about a couple of the injuries that are already officially ruled out. Everyone from like all the people from Baltimore. You got Justice Hill, you got Odell Beckham. So kind of higher expectation anyway from both Zay Flowers and Gus Edwards, and maybe even Lamar Jackson as far as running. There's another one. Well, a couple others that are already out. Jamal Williams, he's on the IR. Zay Jones is going to be out. Austin Eckler is going to be out. We were just talking about if Joshua Kelly is going to be decent for this week. We know he did bad last week, but I think that he could do a little bit better this week against the Vikings. Both running backs from that game should do well, but both him and Alexander Mattison with a little sprinkle of Cam Akers. Let's see how that works. So I'll have you answer this question. I'll have you answer this question from Mark. He's kind of high on Pacheco today against the Bears. What are your thoughts? Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City.
You know, I've always stated that, like, I'm not a big Pacheco fan. Excuse me. But week to week, there's different matchups, and sometimes you want to exploit those matchups. the kind of game that could develop into. I mean, I think that they're going to blow the Bears out. So I do think there might be a point in the game, especially the later part of the game, where Mahomes might not have to do as much. So I don't think playing Pacheco is a bad play today, not at all. But he's going to be somebody I would flex or be a low end running back too, I would say, if you want to go that route.
Yeah, the only issue, the only concern that I actually have for Pacheco is that blowout factor, and not only that, plus his injury, where he's not fully 100%, but at the same time, does he have to really do too much to meet his value this week?
If you don't have anybody else to play, I mean, it's not a bad play.
And I was actually just talking about that with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's not he's going to play, but like there has been talk about Derrick Henry actually kind of being on the iffy side. There was a day where he didn't practice, so it's one of those where I'm keeping an eye out on for Tyjae Spears this weekend. Like if he's on your, I mean, technically he shouldn't be on your waiver, but like if he is, then I would somewhat think about picking him up to see where that actually ends up landing. Not wishing Derrick Henry ill will. It's just the fact that like there could be a case where Tyjae Spears and Derrick Henry could be a little bit more even, possibly moving forward.
I really like Tyjae Spears too. I do. I think he adds a different element to the backfield. And he was even surprisingly getting more carries than I thought he would get last week. I mean,
right.
Well, I mean, Henry was getting the bulk of the carries, but they were sprinkling Tyjae in. So that wouldn't surprise me. And I think that if he gets some volume, Tyjae Spears can definitely make something happen for sure.
So, like, do you feel that actually, let me ask you that since we're talking 50-50, I'm looking on Twitter and people are asking multiple times about okay, actually just got an update. So it looks like Aaron Jones and Christian Watson not playing today. Out for the day. So got your Aaron Jones people. Get an AJ Dillon. Christian Watson is out. Bring back Jayden Reed. You saw what Jayden Reed could do last week. Get him, or maybe not put him in. Maybe not put him as a starter, but at least to the point where it's something to at least consider. And they're playing against the Saints this week. So I can kind of see Jayden Reed actually having another decent game this week. Fields may have a good game. We talked about Justin Fields on the show a couple days ago. As far as whether we're giving up on Justin Fields, we have a note saying that Justin Fields may have a good game only on rushing purposes. What are your thoughts? only rushing. That's it. Nothing else.
Only rushing. That's it. Huh? I mean, it's not like Kansas City is a vaunted defense. So I mean, I think that he can. I mean, if we're gonna let's keep it real about Justin Fields, right? I mean, how many times this year has he, or how many times period has he had a big game where he didn't rely on rushing, right? I mean, he hasn't had a 300-yard game in his career, I believe. So it's kind of stating obvious. Like, yeah, he's probably only going to have a good game if he has rushing. But
you don't believe in
Fields, you know that. That's what you got him for. Let the man run and rush and have a good game.
So he's gonna rush. So the man is gonna rush. Like, so do you? Okay, so let's actually have some fun here. Do you see Justin Fields having, let's say in this game, 225 passing yards?
No.
Damn. God.
I know. But that's not bad. That's okay. I could see Justin Fields maybe having about 200 passing yards, 75 on the ground, and you're good with that. Let's say we can maybe get 2 touchdowns as well. You're good with that, right?
Does he get the 2 touchdowns?
He gets the 2 touchdowns.
He gets the 2 touchdowns. Not rushing, just we'll just say total.
Total.
Does he get two touchdowns total?
2 touchdowns total.
All right, let's hope.
Should I say that for my wild prediction of the week or whatever?
You know, why not? and that's not even wild. It's just the fact that can it even be done? And I was so mad last week because I was that close to getting my prediction done, but of course, injuries happen. Like Anthony Richardson got the 2 rushing touchdowns within like the quarter, and he ended, but during that he ended up having I said 100 yards, but he was at 35 at the end of the first quarter. So there was that possibility. He could have got it done.
He was going to ball.
But I'm not going to knock him. So those who are just joining in, once again, everyone that's on here, that's actually what's going on with a lot of people that are already out. Some people that actually just got announced as out is Aaron Jones and Christian Watson for Green Bay not playing. And yes, Mark, I'm just as disappointed in Christian Watson not playing more than anybody, because I really, really want him to actually go out there and play. So maybe I should have done the trade with Manny last week, because he wanted Christian Watson. So I guess it's not gonna happen anymore. But I still like Watson. He's good. Let's see who else we got here. Already talked about Anthony Richardson. Already talked about Justice Hill, ODB. Zay Jones not playing for Jacksonville. I kind of feel that the Christian Kirk little movement actually ended up happening last week, just because of Zay Jones and not being able to play or whatnot. Pacheco, like I said, he's going to end up playing as long, or he is playing. So actually, okay, here's a good one. Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown is considered to actually be playing, but I believe that he is playing with I think they said like either a steel toe or something with steel in it. So that could actually limit him. So I wanted to get your opinion, Mike, as far as whether or not do you feel St. Brown can still do damage even with the limitations?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have him sandwiched somewhere in between like Cameron Ridley and probably or Calvin Ridley, excuse me, and I don't know, Olave, somewhere in that tier for today, probably like a wide receiver 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that group. So I think even with his limitations, he'll be fine. The only other pass catcher really that they seem confident in throwing the ball to like that, really, in my opinion, is Reynolds. So he might have a decent day as well. But I think Amon-Ra, he gets the volume. If you have him, you got to start him. He's a wide receiver 1. Put him out there. Even with his limitations, let's just see what he does. So far this season, he's produced. So let's throw him out there.
But Mike, they're playing against the top 2 defense of Atlanta.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. I mean, you know how we feel about those Falcons. But no, honestly, throw him out.
I'm starting that joke this week if they tumble. So I have to start that.
You know what the funny part is too? The funny part about that is I went to college in Atlanta. Like I love the city of Atlanta. Atlanta's cool.
You did?
But I don't know, man. I'm feeling like people in Atlanta are upset with me right now. So my bad, Atlanta.
Look, we're sorry. Bring back Freaknik. That's all we ask. You like that's all we ask in life. But no, you couldn't even do that. Let's see who else I'm looking at. Actually, I wanted to do a quick reiteration of a game that we actually talked about before we started our show on Friday, or actually no, after our show on Friday. Many ended up asking what was one game that you feel that could actually end up losing and that could be a possible surprise. And the answer that we both kind of leaned towards out of the ones he picked was the Buffalo Bills actually getting upset by the Washington Commanders. Now, usually whenever I ask for like an upset or anything like that, I don't say that will disagree with it. Like I just want to ask, how is it possible? So we know that Sam Howell is not going to say an anomaly, but he can hit different as far as him rushing, having an acceptable rushing ability. He has really good pass catchers and TMC, Jahan Dotson, and so forth. So I guess the question from here is like, if we both agreed on it, I guess how is it possible that the Commanders? How do you feel that the Commanders can beat Buffalo for this shocker, for this surprise?
For the Washington Commanders to beat Buffalo, their pass rush is going to have to get to Josh Allen. So I'm saying it with kind of more than the Commanders beating them. I'm saying Buffalo has the propensity or could possibly beat themselves. with that said, I think that they have a fearsome defensive line. That's one thing that the Commanders definitely do have. So if those boys can get to Josh Allen, unsettle him, force him to do things that he doesn't want to do, I think that they can keep the game close and perhaps in the fourth quarter find some way to steal the game. Now, don't bet on this. You know what I'm saying? Don't go out there, and I don't want people getting mad at me. If the third leg or the fourth leg of your parlay doesn't hit, even though it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad on a parlay bet, but don't put your mortgage on this or anything like that. But I'm just saying I could see it happening. Washington's a pesky team, and sometimes they're overlooked. Buffalo just coming off a big win. I could see Josh Allen getting a little too comfortable and maybe some things happening. But like I said, it's a long shot.
It's not impossible. Simply the point that we were making was it's literally not impossible. It is. There is that availability for it to happen if Josh Allen continues his turnover ways with that Commander defense, then we can actually see it. And the Commanders are actually at home, and they tend to play a little bit better at home. Well, everyone does, but there's a little bit more fierceness in Washington in general.
Hold on, Montel. I see in the comments and my man Beehive Collectibles, and I feel that, but you have to understand, man, weird things happen week one. So it would still kind of be a shocker. Well, not a shocker necessarily, but it's definitely not figured that they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills. Washington hasn't showed us anything like that. But I mean, yeah, I don't really make too much of week one. Week one things do happen, especially because a lot of these guys don't play a lot in the preseason. So week one's kind of an extension of that. But yeah, man. I mean, he did lose to Zach Wilson, so I hear where you're coming from.
That was an overtime game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. So.
Give me a reason. For those who have Joe Burrow, for those who have anyone on that offense, give me an acceptable reason to have some kind of faith in the bank, and not only in the Bengals in general for tomorrow's game against the Rams, but give me a reason to have faith in actually starting him tomorrow or any of the Bengals tomorrow.
Who, Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Is he definitely going to play tomorrow?
Still questionable.
That's the thing. I have Joe Burrow in my league, and I, for the first week, decided not to start him. I went on the waivers in my league. I was able to grab Brock Purdy. Worked out for me. Got my 30 points. I'm going to keep it moving. So I wouldn't start Joe Burrow. I wouldn't. I'd look for, unless you have no other option, I would just wait. And yeah, I believe he's going to more than likely miss the game. I do. He hasn't practiced a lot this week. So I would be hesitant to start Joe Burrow. And if Joe Burrow's not going to play, then that kind of downgrades everybody else in that offense. Perhaps with the exception of maybe like a Joe Mixon, he might get more volume. Maybe they'll run the ball more. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't start Burrow. I mean, do you agree or disagree?
I get it. I get you wanting to not start him. But I think my bigger just for inquiry is I think my bigger inquiry in this case is if you're not starting Burrow, like, do you have enough time as of right now? If you have the belief that he's not going to start, is there enough time for him for you to actually find at least an acceptable replacement for him? Like in the same game, you technically have Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is throwing it to Puka like 96 times per game, and we already know that Matthew Stafford is a cannon. So he'll throw it out as many times as he has to. So Matthew Stafford in the same game will be acceptable. Would you do, like, let's say if you don't pick up anyone during at all today on Sunday, that's not playing on Sunday, would you dive so deep to the point where you would actually start and pick up Baker Mayfield?
Baker's been balling, man. I mean, it's to the point now where I think we have to put a little bit of respect on Baker's name. I know. Hey, man, I am a witness. Don't tell nobody where I'm at, Mike. Don't let them know where I'm at, bro. Okay. Not just gonna let anybody see me wearing this Clipper hat, but it fits goes with the I know. I'm sorry, but it goes with the attire. It goes with the attire.
Come on now. All right, go no, get the attire. But okay, all right, go ahead.
You know,
Go ahead. Keep
but
going.
yeah, what was I talking about again?
Baker.
Baker. Yeah, thank you so much. Baker Mayfield's been doing his thing. I might give Baker some run. I just don't. I don't think Burrow's going to play. So I think that you need to pick up somebody who can give you a little bit of impact. And Baker has those two receivers, those two great receivers in Godwin and Evans. He's not a bad play if you can get him, but you better get him.
Now my thought now, and that was kind of a thought process I thought about last week. And I remember talking about it on our chat. I said, like, I think we have to. I know it's. I think the quote was something like, "I know that it's the Bears, but I think that we have to look at Baker Mayfield for a second because he's looking nice." Baker Mayfield did look nice, but once again, it was against the Bears. The Bears aren't as fearsome as they used to be years ago, and Baker just ran. He actually did do some running, but like he literally like ran them into town last week. So maybe give Baker some run. Like that'll be like a super last minute option if you actually need it. I'm trying to pull up right now to see who else you could possibly pick up as of right now. Like some leagues still have Matthew Stafford. You can pick up a Geno Smith, a CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud actually isn't a bad idea.
CJ's interesting. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I had picked up CJ Stroud. Then like a day later, I dropped him and picked up Brock Purdy because I was just like, I don't know, CJ. And I love CJ Stroud, but that's a very interesting option because he throws the ball.
Stroud, and I mean, with
behind too. So
I was about to say, with them being behind, they kind of don't have a choice but to throw, to throw the ball.
Hey,
that's how Nico Collins got his. That's how Tank Dell got his. And that's why Dameon Pierce is not getting his
at all.
I think the stat was that Pierce only has about, I think it was either 43 or 69 nice yards as far as rushing right now, and that's so sad from a fourth/fifth round pick.
Yeah,
from your fantasy. Stafford is averaging 15 points a game rather than the possible 0. Facts. I'm thinking to myself, well, it's kind of why I was looking. Actually, you know what? I tried to pick up Stafford for a week 5 bye because I have Deshaun Watson starting, and I was trying to think ahead and just get into Matthew Stafford. If he can keep going, especially with week 5, and this is just for my case and for others who have Deshaun Watson, but at week 5, if it's to the point where you have him there, or you have him available, I would pick him up specifically for that week 5. Not only because with the return of Cooper Kupp, still have Puka, who's doing decent. Tyler Higbee is doing okay, but also I believe they play the Texans that week. They have actually a pretty good matchup in week 5. So that was me kind of trying to. Actually, no, they play against the Eagles, and if they're playing against the Eagles, then that's legitimately just all the volume, all the high scoring that you possibly need for this. But yeah, CJ Stroud, I feel it could be an acceptable one as far as getting picked up. Let's look at another game here. Okay. I know we just talked about Christian Watson. I know we talked about Aaron Jones being out. But you know what? Jordan Love still did three touchdowns last game. Saints is a little bit more harder as far as the defense. Do you believe in the hype of Jordan Love?
I'm starting to. It's still kind of hard to really know for sure because it's a limited sample size. But with what he's done, he seems to have some moxie. And yeah, I'm slowly starting to become a Jordan Love believer. Now, he is playing the Saints this week, like you said, so it's going to be a lot harder than playing, the teams he's played in the past. But yeah, I mean, he's not on any of my fantasy rosters, so I don't really have the not the luxury, but I don't really have to start him or worry about starting him. But I've just kind of been watching from, as a bystander and watching the other Jordan Love fantasy owners. And shoot, I mean, he's got more fantasy points than Burrow right now. And that's why. So what can I say? Yeah, I'm a Jordan Love believer for right now. But no, the kid looks decent. He does.
And that was like one of the points that I made out during the preseason. I know it's just preseason, and they were playing against second, fourth, fifth, 19th tier defenses. But like, I think what I did like about seeing Jordan Love during that time was the fluidity of everyone, like looking like that they were all in sync, and that's something that you don't see very well or very consistently through a what's the word I'm looking for, through a young quarterback or a first year starter at that, not first year overall, but first year starter. So I'm holding off on the belief of Jordan Love, but I feel that there may be a little bit more than what we're believing originally as far as him doing good. Maybe Green Bay can actually. No, I'm not going to say Green Bay can get a run in, like as far as winning the NFC South, but like, or whichever division they're in. But they can win the NFC South too. Could beat the Saints probably. Let's see, anyone else? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at everyone else as far as if there was anyone that I missed as far as getting out. Just trying to see who else we can talk about real quick.
I like that Jaden Reed kid though.
Jaden Reed is nice.
He is.
Okay, so the Sunday night game tonight is actually going to be the Raiders and the Steelers. Now, RJ's going to tell you that Raiders are going to ball out. But one of the things that I kept on seeing throughout the week slowly is the progression of someone I dropped in our league, and I wish I didn't, was Jaylen Warren. I did it for Jerome Ford, and I still think it's going to be worth it. But anyway, with Jaylen Warren, we knew how good he was. We always knew how good he was. Then all of a sudden, we saw how kind of on the bad side Najee Harris ended up being. Just like a meme that I always keep seeing. He's a freakish athlete. He's talented. He's fast. He can do everything, but he just can't play football. So the question becomes, and that just sucks to say. So the question becomes, what do you feel that eventually you're going to start to see the run or the rise of Jaylen Warren as far as taking over the backfield? Is it something that you see right now, or do you feel that it's still under development?
I think it's still under development. I mean, I think at some point in the season, Jaylen Warren will probably take over, especially if Najee Harris is not as effective as he should be, and obviously he hasn't since he can't play football. No, I'm just playing. but no, I think Jaylen Warren will probably take over at some point. But I think that Mike Tomlin's kind of an old school, kind of stubborn coach. I think he's going to use both those guys. They're going to probably use Harris as much as they can. Sprinkle Warren in there. Some games Warren whoever's more effective, I think, might get the bulk of the carries. Well, depending on how the game script is played out, excuse me. But it's hard to tell because we keep waiting for Jaylen Warren to like get the green light, and he hasn't gotten the green light, So I'd stay away from that situation.
I'm literally begging for that to happen. I'm literally begging for the Jaylen Warren thing to actually happen. But like, and it's kind of, and you know what it is? I think it's just the fact that they've put so much stock into Najee Harris that it's to the point where they're like, okay, we have to. It's kind of similar, and I hate to do this comparison, but it's kind of comparison to Zeke, where they said that, okay, we put so much into him, we have to give him the run, we have to give him the try. But like, I can kind of see it to the point where Warren indeed is the Tony Pollard in this, where they see that.
Okay. I was going to defend Zeke. Let me stop. Go ahead and finish your thing, man.
I want to hear it, but let me finish. but like it's not that in this case, in this example, Zeke and Harris, it's not that they're bad. It's just the fact that with so much stock that they kind of have to like forcibly get them to play to pretty much try to max out their player, and then from there they have a hungry person behind them, in this case Pollard and Warren, to pretty much who pretty much wants to take the reins just as bad, and they're both the same way. They were both the same way. Zeke and Harris, they were their bruisers who actually is pretty decent in the pass catching game. Pollard and Warren are more into the passing game. Excuse me, but they're a little bit more on the smaller side. So that's all I have before I keep on coughing. So go ahead and give me your rebuttal.
No, you're good. I agree with you 100%. Like I said, I was just gonna sprinkle in only the fact that Zeke did kind of take the league by storm his initial first 3 years. I've yet to see Najee Harris do that. I don't believe he's ever led the league in rushing. But so I can kind of understand a little bit more why Dallas thought that maybe Zeke could rekindle that old flame. But you know me, man. I'm just defending my squad. But you're 100%
break. It's his third year. Actually, no, I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give Najee Harris a break, because I think by year 3 we should have an understanding of who he is and where he is.
And honestly, I mean to cut you off again, but at that position, usually guys come in day one. I mean, it's the easiest position to translate from, going from college to the pros. If you're a good running back, you're going to come in and be a good running back, right? It shouldn't take you, like you said, 3 years to get it together. That's something that more happens for quarterbacks who have to learn a new system.
Yes.
Or, so if we haven't seen it by now, we're probably not going to see it.
You hear that, Jaylen Warren owners? Prepare for the rise of Warren. That's all we're pretty much saying right now. Like, I got him in most of my leagues, but like the ones that I don't have him, I'm so upset that I didn't. But yeah, prepare for that rise. It's going to go down. So we have about 7 minutes left on the show. Was there anything else that you wanted to shout out at all?
No, not really, man. Let me think. Is there anything else that I was wondering about? Well, I'm definitely upset. I don't know if you talked about it earlier. I know you were kind of went on a little bit before I came on, but did you talk about Jaylen Waddle at all?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, I was going to maybe bring that up. I am a Jaylen Waddle owner, so that hurts me. I was definitely going to be playing him today. Now I have to find out or figure out other things to do. But no, if you've already covered that situation, then I'm good.
Okay, let's turn this into a. We talk about food a lot, but let's talk about entertainment for a second. This morning, Usher got announced that he's going to be doing the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on that. With the last 5, well, I'll say just the last 5. Last 5 performers were Rihanna, Dre, Snoop, Kendrick Lamar, all those, which was fantastic. It was beautiful. Yeah. The Weeknd, Shakira, J-Lo, Bad Bunny, and Maroon 5. So those were the past 5. So what are your thoughts with everyone past back then to compare it to who we got right now? What are your thoughts?
They're all good. I mean, like you said, I don't know if we'll be able to top the Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Eminem joint. That was
no one will.
Yeah, I don't think that can be topped. And that was great. Our generation, that was awesome.
Yes.
But yes, what Burke is saying is probably how most people feel. Is Usher still relevant? To me,
I will answer that, but I'll let you keep going.
To me, he'll always be relevant to me. I grew up on that dude, but that's kind of where you have that generational split. Like for a lot of the younger fans, they're probably not going to feel that, but I'll feel it. It's almost like when they brought like the Stones or somebody way back in the day, or they would do something like that on, right?
Right.
When the Rolling Stones on, like, I don't really feel that, but my parents felt it. So it's it's hit or miss, but I'm hyped for Usher. Why not, man? He's dope.
And my answer was going to be Usher is relevant only because he has a resident stay out here. So he has a show out here in Vegas on where is he at? He's at it's somewhat of a new venue. It's called like MGM Park or something like that, okay. where it's like a nice little small stadium. Who was it that also performed there? Bruno Mars performed there, and he packs that house every night, and that's the same thing. And that's the same thing with Usher. Usher packs that thing every single night that he's there, and he actually extended that residency stay until early January, just in time for him to practice for the Super Bowl, which is also out here, which is probably the reason why they picked him in the first place, to be honest. Because
is it just him, or is he gonna someone else gonna be performing?
He'll probably get some other people.
Yeah,
he'll probably get like 1 or 2 more people because I mean, actually, you know what? Also, Lil Jon is a resident DJ out here. So Lil Jon did, as we know, Lil Jon did a lot of joints for him. So there is that possibility that Lil Jon could come out. There could be probably one or two more people. But Rihanna did it on her own last year. So Usher topped that.
Yeah, she did the whole like up in the sky while she was pregnant thing, right?
That was dope.
That was crazy.
That was actually kind of cool for her to be so limited, but still like have half of the stadium doing like Cirque du Soleil stuff.
Yeah,
on like stairs and all that.
That was dope. But one thing about Usher I can say is this: if whether or not you're a fan of Usher's music or not, which I am, but if you're not, that's fine. He is a good performer. He's a great performer, so he's gonna do his thing.
And I think that's what they were looking at with Usher this year. They needed to get someone where there's enough name recognition to the point where everyone can just literally sing his songs. Like it has to be they have to be popular enough to the point where it affects like everybody. Like I mean, we got Mike Lou going, yeah, right now, and Burke or Mark, who you're my boy, but his music taste is like a little bit different outside of Usher. Like the fact that he would even put in a joke saying a Usher song. That's what you need for your performer. That's what you need for your Super Bowl performer. Rihanna, you could do that. Eminem, Dr. Dre, you could do that. The Weeknd, you know, I actually did like the Weeknd performance. It wasn't terrible. It was just kind of trippy. But those are the names that you would need that to pretty much do that. So I'm not mad at Usher at all.
Me neither. I'm happy about it. I had no idea he was doing the Super Bowl, but like I said, I'll be watching. Of course, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, but I'll be watching the halftime show for sure. And like I said, it's hit or miss, man. I'm not the hugest Bad Bunny fan, but I got it because a lot of people do like him. So sometimes it's your guy, sometimes it's not your guy.
Both Mike Lou and Mark might have saw it, maybe they didn't. But Bad Bunny wrestled earlier this year. He's wrestled a couple times.
Is he decent?
Yes.
Okay.
He's like you know how back in the day they used to do all these celebrity people that would do actual wrestling matches,
right?
Like someone has go as far as horribly as like Snooki from Jersey Shore,
right?
she did a match, but the point I'm making was like Bad Bunny, like he's a high flyer. He's like a Hardy Boy. That's how he is. He's jumping over top ropes and jumping over the dude can do it.
That's actually cool. That's what's up. I had no idea. Yeah. But that's actually that gives him a little bit of a thumbs up in my book. Good job.
And Mike Lou made a good point. Like that, his entrance and his entrance from his last match. We turn into a wrestling podcast now. His entrance, because they were in Puerto Rico, so of course, Puerto Rico, that's Bad Bunny's home. But they were in Puerto Rico, like the whole stadium. It was like I would say anywhere between 50 to 70,000 plus singing his song. Like it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's to the point where like if you were a huge Bad Bunny fan and you were watching it on TV, it would bring you to tears. And he won the match. And he won the match.
That's awesome. No, he's definitely, like I said, a talented dude. I didn't know that he had that in his bag, but I know when I was earlier this year, I was in Miami, and yeah, man. I mean, everywhere you went, they're just playing his music, and he definitely has a couple of cuts. So yeah, good for Bad Bunny. That's awesome.
It was a Puerto Rican street fight match.
Okay.
Do you have Peacock?
That sounds vicious. Yes, I do have Peacock, so I can watch it.
You can watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
And he's fighting against another Puerto Rican who's dope as shit too. His name is Damian Priest. He's a monster. So yeah, so it's 9:00, a little after 9:00. We gotta go and we gotta do stuff for ourselves too, because you know we play the game too. So everyone have a good game. Do your best to beat your opponents. You got a couple of last minute people as far as who to pick up and who not to pick up, and that's just generally a wrap. I got to take over some leagues now. So if you'll excuse me. For Mike, it's your boy Will. Have a good night, or I'm used to that. I'm used to that right now. Have a good morning. Enjoy week 3, and we'll see you guys on Friday, or we'll see you on Saturday morning with our next up show for week 4. So later.
Peace.